Hello and welcome to Leadership 101. My name is David Fairman. Today we're going over a list of the top 10 tools that any leader needs if they want to grow, succeed, and move forward their business. Just a little bit about me. I spent about a decade training computer skills, communication skills, leadership management skills. After that, I spent about another decade running a nonprofit organization, doing lobbying work in Washington, D.C. Again, helping people to understand and learn communication skills, how to lead, how to move things forward. After that, I spent 3 years in a mid-sized company as part of their leadership team, and one of my jobs was, again, going out and teaching people, small businesses, how to increase their profitability. So with over 2 decades of experience in leadership training, and other types of training, I've put together this list of traits I believe every leader should have. It really doesn't matter if you are a minister of a small denomination or the head of a large nonprofit organization. It doesn't matter if you are a small business or a large corporation. These 10 tips will help you to excel in motivating others. So let's get started. Now, the top 10 things a good leader has to have, the first one is passion. You have to have passion. That doesn't mean you have to be, a cheerleader, jumping up and down, rah, 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 but you've got to believe in what you're doing. You have to. If you're going to work every day and you're sitting behind a desk and you're wishing you weren't there, I guarantee you, your employees, all the other people there, they don't want to be there either. You've got to have a passion for what you do. You have to make whatever it is that you're leading worthwhile work to those that are doing it. What's the reason behind what you're selling? What's the reason behind what you're building? What's the reason behind whatever it is you're doing? It doesn't matter. If you're a police officer, what are you doing? You're protecting and serving. If you're a construction worker, what are you doing? You're building a home for someone to live in, for someone to raise a family. Or a storefront where someone's going to live their dream, make their business come alive. Whatever it is you're doing, there's nothing too small. There's nothing too big. It's all worthwhile work. That's what makes the economy run. What you have to do is figure out how to get passionate about what it is you're doing. I remember I used to hear this commercial on the radio all the time trying to get people to go to this school. And it would always start off with this guy that was basically a garbage man. He wanted to get out of that. There's no passion. There's no love in garbage. There is. Someone's got to take all that stuff and put it somewhere else, or we'll just be filled with trash. That is worthwhile work. The garbage men and women all over the world are making our cities, our towns, wherever we are, our communities, a cleaner place to live. That's not a bad thing. It's not a negative. Be passionate about that. Own it. That is worthwhile work. Doesn't matter what you're doing. There's always an upside. It's very typical to say, what I have isn't good enough. That's only because we're looking at ourselves. We're looking at our egos. I deserve better. I deserve more. Yes, we want to strive to move forward. We want to get that more. We want to get out there and grasp a hold of that thing. That's what the passion is. But we can't do it with a negative outlook. We have to be content where we are and build from there. We have to see what we have and be passionate about it and say, this is the solid ground. I'm going to stand on this and I'm going to build a ladder and I'm going to climb and I'm going to get higher and I'm going to do better. Otherwise, without passion, we just wallow in self-pity. We have to get passionate about what we do. We have to believe. We have to believe in what it is that we are doing. Worthwhile work. Own your part of making this a better world. It's just a matter of changing that perception and recognizing the goodness in what we're doing for what it is. Grasp a hold of that and share it, because once you own it, remember, this is leadership training. Leadership focus is first you got to lead yourself. Then you can lead others. So you take that passion, and the people that work for you, they don't work for you, they work with you. It's a team effort. Never forget that. That passion you have, that's the difference between a boss and a leader. A boss is going to get out there and say, get this done. A leader is going to say, let's get things together and let's make things happen. We can do this. A boss does things because they have to get done. A leader takes charge and gets things done. But why does he get things done? What's the reason? It's that passion. It's that drive and that push. It wakes people up. It's the coffee in the morning. A good leader has their team thinking about, bragging about the things that they're doing at work because they care and it rubs off. It gets the people that work with that leader to care too. Gotta have that passion. Second on the list is service. I just said with passion, you build it from inside, you pour it out, and you give it to those people that you're leading, right? How do you do that? Through service. It doesn't matter what we do for a living, we're all serving someone else. A boss has servants. A leader is a servant. In leadership, we must recognize that no one really works for us. Yes, they're exchanging time for money. Yes, they're exchanging their skills, their trade, what they're good at, their expertise for money. And that, in and of itself, is a service. But they're not there to serve you. They're not there to serve a boss. They are there to serve the customers. If you're a church, that is the people in the congregation. If you're a business, that's the clients or the customers. They are not there to serve management. Management is just there to kind of nudge, tweak things, make sure that things are going the right way. They see that bigger picture. They see that larger path that everyone's on and make sure, I need to steer him this way a little bit. I got to see if I can help her get that way a little bit. That's service. You got to slide in there. How can I help? What can I do to make your life easier? Because you, the employee, are making our customers' lives easier. Think about that. It's your job as a leader to make sure the business is running smoothly. What's the purpose of the business? To make somebody's life easier. That is the purpose of every business. If you're not there to make someone's life easier, then why do you exist? No one says, well, what I do for a living is I make life harder and people pay me for that. No, of course not. That's ridiculous. People want minute rice. They don't want, oh, well, rice is supposed to take an hour. What if it took 3 hours instead? Of course not. Everything is about making life easier. So if that's the business's reason for existence, then the employees, the associates, whatever it is you want to call them, and that includes everyone that works for the company, their job is to fulfill that mission, to fill that role. Leaders make sure that the team is completing that role. They make sure that the customers are being taken care of. You can't do that behind a desk. You can't. You just can't. You have to get out there. You have to talk to these customers. My first job out of high school, I worked at a fast food place. This particular fast food company, every summer we would have members from the corporate office come out and work with us for 2 weeks. Why? Because they needed to get to know the customer base. They needed to get to know the people they served. Why? Because who do they serve? The board of directors? They serve the shareholders? Not really. They just report to them. Everyone serves the people below them. If you want to have a better customer experience, you've got to understand the actual operations of the business. You have to see how things work, how things flow. You got to be able to jump in there and flip that hamburger, and that in turn will make him or her better at their job, which is what? Serving the customer, serving the client. And what happens when you have better service? You get more customers, you get more clients. A good leader slides in to help where needed. Yeah, you could just sit back and hire more people to get more stuff done, but then you've got to make more money to pay those more people. And the next thing you know, you're just shelling out all these expenses. And then one person calls in sick, and what are you going to do? Cross-train your employees. Cross-train yourself. Know how to jump in. Know how to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid to help other people. Be understanding. Got to keep things on a professional level, but you also have to understand that you're working with people, and everything flows better as we serve one another. And that takes us directly to tip number 3, humility. A boss thinks they sit above everyone else. Everyone else does the work, the boss takes the credit. A leader takes responsibility when things go wrong, and they praise the team when things go right. They're humble. Humility ties back into service, because with humility, we are able to take a step back, get away from that desk, get out there and help the team. Jump in, roll up your sleeves, like I said, get that work done. Humility also praises the team. Going back to my first job in fast food, I always worked the late shift, and after close, there was one particular manager, and every night I would walk out, she would say, "Hey, Dave, thank you for what you did tonight. I really appreciate that." And I'd always just say, you don't need to thank me. I get paid to do this. But it was a routine. And after about a month or two of this, one night she was really busy, and I went to leave and she didn't thank me. And I walked out to my car, and all of a sudden it just kind of hit me. She doesn't have to say that. I don't need to hear it. But I do work harder for her. I noticed when she didn't say it. Why do I work harder for her? Because she appreciated what I did. And I took that with me to every job. Leadership in that company, leadership as I move forward in my life and in my career path. I've carried that and I've shared that story. Be humble. Thank the people that do the heavy lifting. Even if you have to jump in there and you've got to help with that heavy lifting, thank the person there with you. Don't put it all on yourself. Don't say, "Oh, I'm the boss. Everything went well because I'm an amazing leader. Everything's great." No. You can hire the best people in the world, but if you're a boss, you're still only going to get a certain level of results. But if you're a leader and you're humble and you treat them like people and you treat them with respect, giving them the respect they deserve, there will be a difference, a noticeable difference. Stay humble. If you have people on your team who get resentful at a boss because they feel they're not getting the credit that they deserve, production will go down. Morale will go down. Praise the people you work with. Praise your team. Let them know. They'll be able to see better what kind of leader you are if you're humble. Humility leads us into the 4th tip, which is motivation. What motivates you? This isn't the same as passion. Passion is that fire that burns inside of you, that you're going to get that worthwhile work done. Motivation is the reason you have that passion. I'm married. I have kids. I've got a lot of kids. That's a big motivation for me. I'm not a morning person, but I get up every morning and I go to work. And it doesn't matter what the job is, I get it done and I do a good job. I have passion for what I do. I love to serve other people, and I love to tell them what a great job they're doing. I love making people feel good. That motivates me. I love seeing the results of a well-oiled team getting things done. What's your motivation? Is it money? Money cannot be your sole motivation. Money is the result. When you go to work, you've got to have something that keeps pushing you forward, that keeps your passion alive, keeps you wanting to serve others, reminds you to be humble. Now, my motivation is God. God gave me my family. God gave me the skills, the talents that I have, and I want to thank Him by doing the best I can with what I've been given and praising God by my actions and not just my words. That's deep. It's personal. You got to figure that out for yourself. Sit down, take the time. Discover who you are. How can you lead others? How can you get to know how to push someone else in the right direction if you don't know how to push yourself? Once you know what motivates you, it becomes easier to see what motivates others. Because, again, just like passion, service, and humility, when you have it, your team will have it. When you know what your motivation is, they will find theirs. I promise you. You find out what motivates you, people will see it. You won't be able to help it. You'll wear it on your sleeves, not even intentionally. They'll just know. They'll see it in your conversation. They'll see it in your countenance. They'll just know. Recognize your motivations and then look to see what motivates others. Where do you want to be? I tell everyone that's ever worked for me that my job is to prepare them for their next job. So what motivates them? Where do they want to go? What are they pushing towards? I ask them these questions. I give it a little time. I get to know them. I find out what motivates them. It's important. It's important to know what's important to the people you're working with. And that's going to lead us into self-development. Everything that I do right now is preparing me for where I'm going next. Everyone that I'm working with, my job is to get them ready for whatever it is they're going to do next. How can I grow in a company? How can I grow in life if I'm irreplaceable? The biggest mistake a company can ever make is to make someone irreplaceable. Because what happens? They find another job, they're in an accident, God forbid they die. Then what? What if they want a promotion? You can't promote them. They're stuck there. They're trapped because there's no one else that can do that job. Don't let that be you. Constantly learn. Constantly grow. Constantly move forward. And in doing this, help your team grow. Help them learn. Help them move forward. Businesses cannot run on stagnation. Train them to take your place, or you are irreplaceable and you're trapped. You want to retire from the company you own and let somebody else take over? You're going to have to sell it if you don't train someone to take your place. What happens when you go on vacation? Are you going to run the company from your cell phone? That's not a vacation. You've got to be able to trust your team. This self-development isn't just about us as leaders. It's about developing the team, encouraging them to develop themselves. What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to be in 10 years? These are the questions people are asked in job interviews. I'm really hoping to be in the exact same spot you're hiring me for. Do you really want to hire someone that's complacent like that? Then don't be complacent like that. I want to be a teacher. I love it. Every job I've had since I got out of high school, I have trained other people in some way or another. I love it. I enjoy it. I love it so much, I even started a meetup group to teach people how to use open source software. What's my plan to retire? Well, I'm hoping I never do. I'm hoping I teach. I'm hoping I can spend a good portion of my life helping other people develop themselves. Because when I train somebody else, I'm doing self-development. I'm learning. I learn more when I teach other people than I ever do when I just study on my own, or I take a class, or I do anything else that's just me. Human beings are social creatures. We receive more when we give. You want to develop yourself? Teach somebody else. You want to learn something? Show somebody else how to do it. And that leads to the sixth item on the list, correction. Now, a boss is going to say, oh, I know how to correct somebody. You fire them, and then everybody else, they get in line. Remember, a good leader looks at themselves first. What are the things that we as leadership need to do? We need to fix in ourselves. What do we need to correct? Constantly strive to do better. Your team will see this. They will see you working hard. They will see you moving forward, making sure that things get done. And again, you're leading by example. They'll see your passion, and they'll be motivated to mirror that. You're training them by what you do. A leader is someone that people look up to. If we can't admit to our mistakes, if we can't say when we were wrong, we will lose all respect from our teams. We don't need to go out of the way and take blame that doesn't belong to us, but we do need to acknowledge that we are human. A boss never does anything wrong. Everything that was bad, it's somebody else's fault. I said it earlier. When things go well, a leader gives the credit to the team. When things don't go well, a leader takes that responsibility. I was the one in charge. And then they work harder to make it better. Correction isn't just about making a mistake and admitting it, it's also about fixing that mistake. How do we move forward in a better light? How do we make a brighter future? How do we get the team to focus, to get things together, to make sure that whatever went wrong doesn't go wrong again? Is it possible to fix whatever the problem is now? And again, that will extend on to our employees. When it does come to correcting others, I'm going to make a suggestion here. You, for yourself, take an index card right now. Write 3 things that you do well. Write 2 things you want to work on and set a goal. Set a time for that goal. How long do you think it'll take for you to reach that goal? What do you need to do to get there? Revisit it. Set up dates to look at it before that last date. And then when you get to that last date, if you've not reached that goal and you've not even come close, there's a problem. When you need to work with members of your team that need correction, do the same thing. Pull out an index card. Talk to them. Have them tell you 3 things they believe they do well. Have them tell you 2 things they need to work on. Don't accept just anything. Whatever the reason is that you've pulled them aside for correction, that needs to be on that list, and that needs to be their goal. Coach them to it. Don't tell them what they did wrong. Work with them and help them see it so that they tell you, so that they set a goal to fix that. A lot of times, they know what they did wrong. Now keep in mind, there are 2 different types of problem employees. Employees with problems and employees that are a problem. You have to learn how to differentiate the 2 and how to deal with them both appropriately. This takes us to item number 7, which is integrity. You have to have integrity to be a good leader. Everything that we've talked about up to this point is all about integrity. When you're correcting someone, why will they tell you? Why will they admit to their mistake? Because you have integrity. They feel safe. They feel you're not a boss, you're part of the team. And as a part of that team, they know they can admit that they made a mistake and you'll help them, because everything that we've talked about, everything that we've done so far is going to help them to recognize this fact about you. You're not a boss, you're a leader. I went to Dave and we had a really good conversation. It was great. I told him things I thought I did a good job on, and he said, yeah, those are great. I really like them. And it made me feel really good. We went over a couple of things I need to work on, and yeah, one of them I knew I needed to work on, but he was really patient about it. And in the end, I think I'm in a much better place, and things are going to go really well. I'm really glad I'm working here. That's what you hear from an employee on a team. It's not what you hear from someone that has a boss. Leadership with integrity can be seen by anyone that walks into the office. Again, I don't care if it's a church, I don't care if it's a nonprofit, I don't care if it's a small business, I don't care if it's a large corporation. When you walk in that door, you can tell by the body language, by the way they move, what the environment is. And if that company is led with integrity, people are comfortable. They're happy to be there. If you want to work for a company that has integrity, be a leader with integrity. All of that, again, ties into number 8, follower. What's a follower to a boss? Well, probably their employees. They're only a follower to their boss. They yell at their employees because they were yelled at by their boss. And it's just a vicious cycle. A leader knows when to follow. A leader is a part of a team. And when they're working with that team and they see that one individual who really knows their stuff, they step back and they say, hey, you know what? This is your moment to shine. I trust you. You take the lead here. I've got your back. Think about that. What does that do to an employee to show that kind of trust? What does that do to morale? Other team members, they want to let you know, hey, I can do this. I can take the lead here. I can do the lead here. And now suddenly, you're not just a leader, you're a leader of leaders. And that's what a leader does. A leader knows when to back down, follow, and train their people to be leaders too. A leader creates other leaders. I can't say that enough. If I walk into a company and I'm talking to people, I know a solid leader because everyone I talk to is a leader. And then when the actual leader steps up, it's like, that's the one. You know, because they exhibit all of the tips I've gone over so far and the few I have left to go over. But they blend in as well. They stand out, but they blend in because they are a team player. I was talking recently to someone, and this person teaches religious classes. And she was telling me about one she did recently where she was trying to teach a unity class. How do people get along? How do they work together? And she said, David, I watched these people divide into two groups. The people who wanted to work together and the people who wanted to follow. There were people who just wanted to run to the top of that hill and be like, hey, everybody, come and follow me. But the problem was then the other people that wanted to be the person at the top of the hill were also running up there. And they were basically just trying to shove the other person off the top of the hill so they could be the one at the top of the hill. The other people in the group were at the bottom of the hill. They held hands, speaking metaphorically. Guess which group got things done? It was the second one. The ones who weren't willing to follow were too busy fighting to be the one in charge. The other people all worked together, and they all led at whatever their expertise was. And one of them just naturally comes out in these type of situations. One of them was just really good at organizing. They were the leader. But everybody was a leader. Everyone was a leader at what they excelled at. And everyone else let that person take charge, and they followed. Even the organizer, the leader of the leaders, if you will. In our culture, we're taught to not be a follower. Don't take it to an extreme. If you want to lead, know when to follow, and be a leader of other leaders. Number 9, vision. What's your vision? Where are you going? What are your goals? Why isn't this one first? Why are you doing this other stuff if you don't have a vision? Because you can't reach that vision until you've climbed this ladder and excelled at all of these other points. You've got passion. You know how to serve. You do it humbly. You're motivated. You're constantly self-developing. You're willing to step up to the plate and correct yourself when you're wrong, and you do it with integrity. You know when to lead and you know when to follow. You know how to be a leader of leaders. Now you're ready. You may have set your goal way back with your passion, but now you're ready to turn that goal into a vision. You know where you want to go. You know where you're taking the team. You know where you want your company, your organization, your congregation. You know where you want them to be. With vision, you know how to get them there. You can set a goal. If I have a goal to climb Mount Everest, how do I do it? Do I write it down on a little note card and file it away? You have to have a vision. You have to have a plan. You got to save money, right? You've got to buy the gear. You probably want to climb some smaller mountains. Get yourself there physically, emotionally, mentally, so you know you can do it once you get there. You buy your ticket, you go. Makes it sound so easy, doesn't it? But it's not. Yet it's achievable. A vision isn't a fantasy. A vision is a reality that has yet to come to pass. What is your vision? As a business owner, your real vision is to make that company successful, right? As a leader, your vision is to make your team successful, right? You've got to set achievable goals to get there. And you've got to celebrate success. All right, guys, our goal is $1 billion by 2030. Is that achievable? Depends on the size of your business. Maybe you're already there. What is a realistic goal for you? You've got to figure out what that vision is. What is your Everest? What are the steps that you're going to take to lead your team to that success? Mark your milestones. Remember Everest. You got to save money. Okay, how much money do you need? You got to climb some smaller mountains. Which mountains am I going to climb? How much am I going to need to spend on equipment? What equipment do I want, and why do I want that equipment? As you're checking these off, celebrate with your team. Okay, we need to save up $1,000 to buy XYZ equipment. Cheers, guys, we got there. We got there. Together, we did it. Take a minute, live that vision. Let them know that you are moving forward, that you are succeeding, that you're going to get there. And then motivate them to keep pushing forward. Use that. Grab a hold of that success and use it to propel your team forward. And we got this far. We can do this. Never lose sight. Never lose focus. That vision is what you're working for. In part, it should be your passion. In part, it should be your motivation. But it's got to be there. It's got to exist. You have to have a vision. That leads us to number 10, communication. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people who are saying, Dave, seriously, why on earth is communication at the end of the list? I'm a religious guy, so I'm going to remind you of what Jesus said. He that is first shall be last, and he that is last shall be first. Communication is last because it's been there the whole time. You can't just have a passion. You communicate that passion in what you do, what you say, how you do it. Remember our vision, getting to Everest? I guarantee you, if that really is your goal, you have a big poster of Mount Everest on your wall, right? Everything we do communicates. The question is, what is it that we are communicating? It's easy to say, I believe in service, and shut your office door and do nothing. You communicate that service by your actions. And that's true of every single tip on this list. A strong leader, a good leader, is a good communicator. We can't help it. We live this list. We preach this list. When we sleep this list. I'm going to go back to my first job again, fast food restaurant. When I first started working there, there was a lot of animosity. There was a day shift and a night shift. And the night shift came in at 4, and the day shift left at 4. And they hated each other, to be perfectly blunt. The night shift would set up everything for the morning shift, and they would just say, it's for the morning shift. I'm not too worried about this. And keep in mind, I'm fresh out of high school. This is really my first job. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know what I'm doing. There's just this animosity. And then something happened. Someone from the day shift took a vacation. They weren't going to be there for the whole week, and they needed someone to fill in. And I volunteered. I came in 6 o'clock in the morning and started prep. We opened at 10. The whole time, every single person that morning shift would grab me and say, this is how we do it in the day shift. And this is why you guys have problems at night. This is what we do and why we do it. And this is why we have problems. And see this, how this didn't get done correctly? Because we had to fix this, we couldn't do this. And I heard that for a week straight. And the first day, I didn't like it. 4 o'clock rolled around. I went to clock out. And I talked to my friends and I said, man, these guys are grumpy. I don't know what their deal is, but man, all I hear is just complaint after complaint after complaint. But by the end of the week, I realized something. They saw that I was a hard worker. They appreciated my work ethic. And I got to know them. I saw they were hard workers. I saw that they were good people. So when I went back, I said, hey, I was working the day shift and they said this. No, don't worry about day shift. This is how we do it on night shift. We're going to get this done like this. And this is just how it is. And they just need to learn to deal with it. I said, well, if you do it like this, they have more time. That's what they say. They've got plenty of time. They come in at 6 in the morning. They don't open until 10. So I went and I sat down with the general manager. And I said, look, I know I'm new. I know I'm young. And I know I don't really know what's going on. But I'm going to tell you what I think's going on. I said, the morning people have this idea in their head that it's just party time all the time and a night shift and that no one's doing anything. They say, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to hear about this battle. I know. I'm not here to complain about them at all. Let me finish. The day shift has the same problem with the night. I spent a week there last week and got to know them. They're all hard workers. They're all good people. You know this. You're the manager. Well, I've been telling them this all the time. I said, I know you're telling them. I know that. We need to show them. How are we going to do that? Start mixing up the schedule. Have everybody work 1 week, just 1 week, flip shifts. I can't do that. So-and-so's got kids and this and that, and they're in school. I said, fine. Just pick 3 of your influencers. Who are 3 people that you see as the people on the team who aren't actual management, but they're leaders? Can they flip? Can they switch it up? Well, yeah, 2 of them can. And on the evening, all 3 of them can. Then do that. Just swap them up and let's see what happens. And I'm going to tell you what happened. These were the leaders because they were the influencers. So when they saw how things really were and they got to know, wow, these guys on night shift, these guys on day shift, they're hard workers, they're good people. Attitudes changed. Suddenly everything became, I need to make sure that these people are taken care of. I need to make sure that my coworkers have what they need. It became a better place for everyone to work. We always had enough prep. The store was always clean. We were happy, which made the customers happy. And we did more business. What changed? We communicated. We talked to each other. We figured out who the influencers were, and we made sure that on both shifts they were friends. And they influenced everyone else. And the whole store became friends. Now, it isn't a beautiful, perfect picture. There were some people that didn't become friends and they left. That's how bad the animosity was when I first started there. Now, really, this could be the story of any organization. Doesn't matter if you're a small church or a large nonprofit. It doesn't matter if you're a small one-person company or a large corporation. You want to be successful? This is how you do it. This is just my top 10 list. I'm not really getting into the nitty-gritty. I'm not really getting into detail on how to do any of these. If you enjoyed this, and if you would like to learn more, please reach out to me. D as in David, Ferriman, Ferriman, @gmail.com. I want to help your company. I want to help your congregation. I want to help wherever it is you are, whatever it is you're doing. I want to help you succeed. That is my passion and it's my vision. Let me help make your life a little easier.